Disgraced rape investigations unit Sapphire is to be overhauled to try to bring more offenders to justice. The unit was criticised for seriously mishandling investigations, including some in Southwark, where detectives were found to have pressured victims into dropping charges to boost performance figures. The changes have not been welcomed by all, though, as Ronke Phillips reports.
Double killer John Say allowed to remain free after detectives failed to pursue an earlier rape allegation against him. Say, who had a history of violence, went on to kill his 8-year-old daughter and 10-year-old son. This case was at the centre of criticism levelled at the Met Sapphire unit in a police watchdog report published earlier this year. Now all sex crime investigations, including child abuse, will come under one command. The highly critical report accused the Sapphire unit of adopting an approach of failing to believe victims. It also said the unit was overstretched and underperforming. But the Met maintains these procedures have now changed.
Yes, we've accepted we made mistakes then. We're only human, but we deal with about 5,000 investigations a year. And yes, we will get some things wrong, but generally, and on the whole, we get things right, and victims are generally satisfied with what we're doing.
Previous failures by the Sapphire unit include the botched investigations into black cab rapist John Warboys, who attacked more than 100 women, making him the UK's most prolific sex offender, and Kirk Reed, who escaped capture for almost a decade. Southwark's Sapphire team alone has been the subject of 5 separate inquiries, with Detective Ryan Coleman-Farrow jailed last year for falsifying police records. In total, 19 officers have been disciplined, including 3 who've been sacked, and 1 is still under criminal investigation. To some, the name Sapphire has become associated with failure, but critics say giving the new unit a new name is not the answer.
Policing and rape, it's not an industry, OK? It's not something that needs a brand and a logo and so on. We hear a lot of PR from the police. What we're interested in is serious, basic investigations and prosecutions and thorough work done by dedicated officers.
It's nothing to do with branding. No, but I don't care what the name of the unit is. The key thing is to sort out the problems that obviously started to occur and to make sure that everybody feels absolutely certain that when they report an instance of rape or domestic violence or of sexual violence, they will be properly treated.
The Met is promising a steadfast commitment to victims when the new unit begins operating this summer, but critics say only proper guidelines will make a real difference. Ronke Phillips, ITV News.
Well, I'm joined now by Nina Lopez, who is the founder of Legal Action for Women, which helps women bring criminal cases into the courts. Thanks for joining me, Nina.
You're most welcome.
So do you see this as a matter of making a serious statement about failings that they've made in the past?
Well, we don't at all. First of all, we have had so many of these instances where the police come saying they are restructuring and this could never happen again, and then it happens the next day and you find out that the restructuring has not resulted in any improvement whatsoever. We have a number of questions. When they're saying they're going to restructure, does that mean the investigation will be more thorough? Does that mean the women will be believed? They're going to actually take it seriously, pay attention to what women are actually telling them and investigate that?
Well, talking of investigations, obviously the IPCC did investigate what was happening with Sapphire. And in February, their report, they said that the Sapphire's unit's approach of failing to believe victims was wholly inappropriate and it was underperforming and overstretched. So clearly something had to be done, and they're responding to that.
Well, they're responding, but the question is, how are they responding? Because, you know, there's been an anti-rape movement for over 35 years now. And every time the police are criticised, and what is always criticised is the fact that the investigations are not thorough, that they're based against a woman for any number of reasons. And then they come up with some PR. They tell you, oh, no, we're doing this, we're doing the rape suites, we're doing that. Now they're doing some new restructuring. We met with the people who restructured. And nothing much has changed. The IPCC is also part of the problem, by the way.
But what we also we cannot ignore the figures, though. And since 2008, the arrest rates regarding rape have actually increased by a fifth. So it's not as though they're not doing anything. They are doing good work in there as well. Not perfect, but they are doing good work.
Well, we're sure that there are some police officers who are doing good work. We meet some of them. But those are not the ones who set the policies. They're not the ones who set the priorities. They're not the ones who get promoted, unfortunately. The ones who are good at PR seem to be the ones who get promoted. And this seems to be another PR exercise. And they're still prosecuting rape victims who report, which, of course, is a terrible miscarriage of justice and also discourages other women from coming forward. And don't forget that 85% of women do not report.
OK, well, Nina Lopez, thanks very much for joining us. I'm sure we've not heard the end of this story.